Good evening and welcome to the Society, our weekly Vaesen RPG campaign. My name is Loki and I will be your game master for these dark and thrilling tales. It is with great pleasure that I welcome you to this, the first episode of Chapter 3, and I hope that we delight, fright and intrigue you with mystery and adventure. So without further ado, let's meet our cast. Yeah! Hi everyone!
Hi! Hi! I am Sarah and I play Elster Jensen, the Forest Ranger.
I'm on bloody mute. Hi, I'm Mike. I'm playing Maximilian Fjellbach, the paranormal investigator.
I am Jack. I'm playing Lieutenant Colonel Bartholomew Seaton, the officer.
Hi, I'm Gus. I'm playing Morton Thorsby, the servant.
We have a number of people we would like to thank for all the resources and contributions they have provided to tonight's episode. The link should appear in the Twitch chat or in the details below if you're catching up on our YouTube.
Our virtual tabletop tonight is Roll20, with featuring their dynamic lightning features, inbuilt character sheets, and virtual dice rollers. Go check them out at roll20.net. In addition, our battle maps were created using Dungeon Fog and all the amazing assets over there.
Our character art was created by the extremely talented Shusha, who you should go and check out on Instagram at ShushaUK. That's ZSUZSAUK. Our game tokens and dice roller tokens come from the Vaesen RPG rulebook by Free League and from the amazing artist Johan Egerkrans.
The music and ambient sound throughout the stream come from Tabletop Audio and Kevin in Incop Tech, all provided by the Roll20 Jukebox. You can check both these amazing artists out via their website at tabletopaudio.com and incoptech.com.
Yay! We did it! The hard bit of every episode, reading out the little welcome script. Let's go straight over to that intro video while we all have a little breather to recover. Hey, oh, I've pressed the wrong button. Look at that. Straight off the bat. There you go. There's everyone. It's like, just me. We only need me today. So, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Society. Super exciting. We had a little week off last week to do a map stream so that I had a bit of time to set up this new chapter. Now we're ready to rumble. We have our delightful cast over here. Delightful. Smile cast. They're so delightful. Before we get underway with our ridiculousness, I have some exciting news for everybody. So between the map making stream last week and this week, we hit a very big milestone. The Society now officially has over 50 followers. I want to say a huge thank you to everyone who's watching tonight, everyone who's following us, absolutely everything. Because what that means is that the Society is this close to becoming Twitch affiliate. And by this close, I mean it is just a matter of Twitch trickling through its updatey things and sending us all the exciting paperwork. Which leads me to reveal that we will be doing another giveaway very shortly to celebrate our Twitch affiliate. So as soon as we get that affiliate status, which hopefully next week we'll have it, we'll be able to reveal our big affiliate giveaway and the prizes that we have. So I'm super excited. Massive thank you to everyone who is kind of who's joining us on this ridiculous ride.
Plus,
Right?
there'll also be society emotes.
Yes, and maybe merch. I mean,
We'll all
I
be
was.
in society t-shirts.
I'm not going to
every
lie. I've been
stream.
having a little look at getting a
course.
little bit of society merch. You know. So just wait and see. But yeah, that's enough of the shenanigans and all of us gossiping away. We really should get into the game, right? We really should get into the game. We don't really have a recap per se, because this is the first episode of this chapter. But I am going to wrong button. I'm going to do a little bit of a recap on kind of the story so far. So the most important thing really for all of us to remember is in the previous episode, which was the one shot, if we all remember, there was an unexpected visitor at Erdegarden, the public-facing headquarters for our group of people, who have found themselves the inheritors of a mystery. A secret society whose members have seemingly vanished and left behind their headquarters, their buildings, and a few members dotted around. Why they have vanished is a complete and total mystery, but our group have inherited this headquarters and have taken up the mantle that this secret society once stood for, which is protecting the human world and the other world from each other. Now, an unexpected visitor dropped by, a inspector from the constabulary who was investigating a murder of a priest that had happened in the village of Espedalen. We're all looking at you, Elstrad. But the real thing to highlight is during that one shot was the receipt of an old battered letter that had seemingly travelled through parts of Scandinavia, Denmark, the Netherlands, France, the United Kingdom, and had somehow made its way through this treacherous journey back to Erdegarden, where our brave souls, our players, find the letter, with it having been received. So I am going to. I know the poor postal system. Grumpy Batsby, the poor postal system. It's here somewhere. Right. Having read the letter, our players are spurned into action. I'm going to pop that letter up. Can we get a player to read the letter out for us?
Mm-hmm.
Go on, Max.
In grave danger. Send help immediately. Have uncovered a terrible secret in Flekkefjord. Don't know how long my cover will last, but something must be done. You must send aid in case I fail my mission. Lives are at stake. Rolled G.
The reason this letter spurs our friends into action is twofold. Firstly, the letter is headed with a symbol that our brave souls are very familiar with. It is the symbol emblazoned throughout the hall under the mountain. The second reason is the urgency of the letter. We will dive to our players who are in the library of the hall under the mountain. As Max's words peter out into silence, muffled by the books, the three of you sit here and absorb the information. What will you do?
Well, first question is that his real name? Or is that his cover?
Also, is that a name that any of us recognize? Because, maybe they actually are writing to us.
No, it is not a name that anyone recognizes.
And do I know how far Flekkefjord or I don't know how to pronounce that name is?
Flekkefjord. Actually, yes. Flekkefjord is a well-known town in Norway. Let me get the map.
Thanks. And again, I will apologize for any pronunciation of any word because I can barely pronounce English.
Okay,
Let's
so
try Scandinavian.
the mythic north. Okay, Norway. I will eventually get a really nice copy of this map that I can put into our
GM?
Yeah.
If you pop over to your just chatting screen, it'll be bigger for chat.
Oh yes. Okay, here is the lovely map of the Mythic North that I intend to get a lovely digital version of so I can put it into our Roll20. Okay, isn't it lovely? So, Flekkefjord is right there. Flekkefjord is right there. Flekkefjord. You guys are up here near Herdal. Only near. You're a coach journey away from Herdal. It is connected by train lines. So your journey, as you would know, your journey would be from Espedalen to Herdal by coach. And then you would train down to Christiania, which is the capital. And then it's all one train line all the way around to Flekkefjord. So Flekkefjord is very famous. Colonel, you would also recognize the name Flekkefjord. It featured predominantly in the Napoleonic Wars. Firstly, it's a coastal town, but it's actually quite far inland. It's not a fjord, but it kind of is. And Flekkefjord sits on either side of the fjord, and it's called the town's name is named so because it straddles the fjord. It became very famous during the Napoleonic Wars because to get to Flekkefjord, you have to navigate some extremely treacherous waterways where the tide is very unusual. So it became a really useful trading post and trading route because enemy ships were unable to chase cargo vessels up to Flekkefjord because it was just too dangerous to traverse unless you knew exactly what you were doing. It then became very famous because towards the end of the Napoleonic War, when Denmark, when there was a whole set of countries who sort of stayed neutral and then swapped sides. They actually joined a side. It caused then a massive shift in the lay of the war, and there was a great blockade against Scandinavia, and Flekkefjord became the headquarters for the blockade runners, because again, they could maneuver small, quick, agile gunships up and down very quickly to do almost guerrilla tactics on the sea, and then they could retreat to Flekkefjord, and they were again safe because any ship that tried to follow them that didn't know would run afoul of the strange waterways and tides. So it's quite a well-known town at this time and in this world.
Would I also have had dealings with it from my father?
Potentially, yes. One of the big things that Flekkefjord does now is lumber. It is a huge lumber trade. But also for herring, for the strömming, because it has access out to the sea.
Okay. Well, it's still gonna take some time to get there. I think if we want to go, which we should, we probably need to start packing and go. They require help.
I shall check to see if there's any books on Flekkefjord
Fair.
that I can take just to try and familiarize myself with the area before we go.
Also, any records of his name?
Yes.
I'm just here that if he's using the stamp, he knew the society beforehand.
Right, this is a perfect segue into some exciting activities from your previous adventure or your previous mysteries. All of you have gained enough XP that you can level up. Leveling up in Vaesen, you spend 5 XP and you can do one of two things. You can either improve one of your skill scores by 1, which translates into adding a dice into that skill roll, or you can take a talent, any talent, from the Vaesen talent list. I'm gonna kind of like whip around the screen and see what everybody did. Max, what did you do for your level up?
I took a talent.
Okay, what did you take? Do tell us.
Strike Fear. I went with the Strike Fear because I figured that Max is growing in his abilities and his understanding of the occult and its workings. So, as such, would know how to tap deeper into those unseen dark forces.
And join the hellish crusade.
Exactly.
How about you, Colonel?
I've gone for the army medic. And what that gains is it grants +2 to fear tests when frightened by dead or damaged human bodies. Being a soldier and seeing a lot of war over his career, that felt very appropriate to be able to be that little bit more resilient to seeing dead bodies.
Yeah, just that little bit more resilient, so that catastrophe doesn't befall you.
As it always does for me. So
little cross reference to the last chapter. Elstrid.
Astrid, well, I decided to go instead for a talent. I decided to go for improving a skill. And I decided for manipulation because Elstrid noticed how people affect people and how she if she had tried a bit harder, she would have probably convinced people while we were, before the fighting, and even trying to convince Gaither. So, yeah, she wants to try to be more on the convincing people than as she did last time, Far West style, even if it's not exactly the right time period.
Yeah. Nice. Perfect. And last, but by no means least, Morton.
Okay, so I've also gone for a skill. Morton has decided that, increasing his close combat, because after the little grapple he had with the Hexjaeger in the last, kind of learn a few more skills to maintain that grapple on somebody and that combat. So I thought that sort of see with it.
Okay. Nice.
And just as a side, I can't see any maps in Roll20 right now.
Oh.
If there is anything going on in Roll20, I'll try reloading it, but there's nothing there.
Hold on. Hold, caller.
Do you have eyes? Like in Roll20, do you have sight?
I do now. I can see.
Yay!
The GM may or may not have forgotten to give you eyeballs in Roll20.
Maybe I should have gone for that as using my experience point. Add eyeballs.
Add eyeballs. Absolutely. Okay, lovely. And that does lead us then. We're going to do...
Yeah, question.
Oh, yes, fire away.
I was broken in my chapter, and then I think we were going to have to check if my defect actually stayed.
Yes. Oh, I do remember.
Yeah.
All right, so...
I forgot. Wait, I wrote it big on my notes, so I'm like, I think I need to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so for chat, just to give you an idea of, there's a really interesting mechanic inside Vaesen. When you are downed, when you are beaten, you take on a critical injury, some of which are fatal and some of which are not. However, all of the critical injuries, whether they be physical injuries or mental injuries, have a effect on your person. At the end of each story / the beginning of the next one, you need to roll to see whether that effect becomes permanent or not. So, Elstrid has a defect, which is called regression, which reduces Elstrid's learning by 2. So we're going to need to do a... you're going to need to do a roll to see if that becomes permanent or not. Okay.
Are you saying Elsa's first roll again?
Yes! That is what we are saying.
Oh god.
Okay.
I think that's going to be set up personally.
It's a setup. It's totally a setup. It's
Sure.
rigged. 100% it's rigged. Right. Somewhere in the rules. Just little rule hopping here, just to make sure that I get it right, because this is the first time we've had to do it. Here we are, defects and insights.
Won't be the last, hey Matt.
Okay. Okay. So, it is done using a roll called a recovery roll.
Okay.
And the recovery roll is calculated by adding together your physique or precision, if it's a physical defect, but yours is not. Yours is a mental one.
Yeah.
Therefore, you need to add together your logic and your empathy.
Okay.
You roll that many dice. So, for you, it will be... Ooh, it will be 6 6
Yeah.
dice.
So, do I just roll and then d6s, 66?
Yep, you can do. Or alternatively,
Yeah.
what we can do is if you just bump your empathy up to 6, just
There. Then I
hit
click
it to roll,
Yeah.
and then don't forget to
Yeah.
return it.
Yeah,
You're looking
me?
for a success. Each success restores 1 defect.
Okay.
No pressure.
Come on. First roll of the night.
First roll of the night, and it could
Everything's
be
crossed.
a significant one.
Even toes if you manage.
I've got
Cross
them.
your toes if you can.
Okay, I'm clicking.
Yay! Okay. So because you rolled a success, you are able to remove your defect. You recover from it in during your time here under the mountain.
Yeah, I was. Then I went full on huntress. I went gathering. I commune with nature.
Communed with the nature. Absolutely.
Gave Skadi loads of cuddles.
Oh, yes.
I do need to. Yeah, it's on my list. A Scuddy token. I promise.
Where is the token? Where is the
It's
token?
on my list. I promise.
Just so you know, the Colonel currently has a couple of sound issues and will be back with us as soon as he can be.
Useless. Useless.
We should go full on Italian, all of you, and just signal with your hands. Easy.
Yeah, you can do the full Just wave vibrantly and hope that someone comprehends. Okay.
Pretty sure that you guys at least know one Italian sign.
I've played roleplay games enough with you that I'm almost cognizant. I think I'm fluent Italian hand signs.
Fair. We had some discussion on cuisine, but
Cuisine. Okay, so this covers all of our little housekeeping activities. Now, if you remember, at the beginning of each one of the mysteries, at the beginning of each mystery, you can do something to gain an advantage.
Ooh.
Okay. So have a little think what it is you would like to do to gain advantage. We're going to go into a little travel montage shortly where you're going to carriage from Espedalen to Hedal and then train from Hedal to Flekkefjord. So have a little think what it is you would like to try and gain advantage. Do you want to see if you can find a book on Flekkefjord to give you information on it? Do you want to see if you can find a book on Rold to give you some better details on who they are and maybe how to find them? Do you want to speak with Gate here to see if she knows anything? Do you want to train, clean your weapons, prepare your gear? It's any number of activities, but depending on what you pick will give you an advantage that you can then use once during the mystery. So, for example, if you spend time cleaning your weapons, then you might get from that you might get an advantage on your pistol because you have kept it in good nick and good maintenance. So therefore, you can then get a +1 bonus at once during the game when you're using it. That's what we're thinking about for advantage. So have a little think.
yeah.
And we'll do a little whip around, and we'll see what people would like to do for their advantage, and then travel montage. Okay. This also gives me a good amount of time to sort out my player character sheets, handouts, lights, tokens, and smile at you all like I'm completely organised. I'm so well organised. Hashtag pro streamer.
Hashtag pro streamer.
That's pro streamer. All right. I think that's time enough.
I think the Colonel's about to be in cat ears. He heard that.
best moment of the evening.
I am back.
My, look how fabulous your ears are.
Just to update you, Jack, whilst Luke's sorting out his bits and bobs, have a think about what you would like to have as an advantage, whether it's clean your weapons, find a book on rolled, speak to Gator about stuff in the area, that kind of thing, whilst Luke's sorting bits and bobs out.
Yeah, I have L3 will not go for the talk to Gator one.
Oh, why not?
I just don't understand.
Because we
why.
are so tight already. Why would I need that?
BFFs.
Yeah, BFFs all the way.
Okay, so
Braid each other's hair.
let's have a little think. We're going to do a little whip around. Max, what are you thinking about for your advantage for this mystery?
I'd like to speak to Gator regarding Vaesen in the area of Flekkefjord.
Ooh, okay. I'll put a pin in that. Morton.
I see that's kind of helped me. I was thinking of two different things, but in that case, I'm going to spend some time wandering around the library and see if I can find any information out about Flekkefjord.
Ooh, okay, nice. Elstrid.
I mean, I kinda wanted to do the same because I think Elstrid as a character would like to know the lay of the land. So, yeah, I think she's gonna help Morton try to find information about Flekkefjord.
Ooh, okay, nice. Yep, good shout. And Colonel?
I want to try and find out more about this person. See if there's any records of them here. If there might be some documents just detailing all any other kind of reconnaissance. So
Okay.
I'll polish my rifle later, but for now.
That's a job in private or with an audience. You decide.
But consent. I feel like consent is an important aspect of...
There's an entire room inside of the society somewhere devoted to only colonels.
Only Colonel's rifle polishing.
And it only took us 43 minutes.
We're slipping.
Thank you for the smut check. I knew we brought you along for something. Okay,
Next time it's got to be half that.
let's do this then. Let's do this little advantage montage. Okay, in that case then, Morton and Elstrid, as you're working as a team, I will allow you to decide which one would like to do a learning roll, and you get a +1 modifier because of the assistance of working as a team.
My learning modifier isn't that great, so if you want to go for it, feel free.
Well, mine's not brilliant, but it's 2, so.
Mine is 0, so you know.
I'll go for it then. I'll go for it.
And don't forget you get your +1.
So you get +1 mod.
Oh my god, how many dice did you roll? And
I got +1.
honestly.
Still didn't get a success.
Cool.
It's terrible.
All right. You search the library for information on Flekkefjord. Now, you are able to gather a few details on your through your investigation of the library. And the details are as follows.
Okay.
Flekkefjord is known to be one of the centers in our mythic north of the old religion.
Oh.
So it is an old religion town. You also discover that it, since the Napoleonic Wars, it has kind of boomed. It's gone from a nothing town that really wasn't even on the map to being big business. And there are a number of kind of large shipping enterprises that use Flekkefjord as their kind of harbour, as their, their main base of operations. It does straddle the fjord. So on one side is mainly the town itself, and on the other side is more warehouses, salting houses, smoke houses, a lot of the kind of industry and sort of dock industry. So this means that this is going to give you it's going to give you 2 advantages, so you can decide who wants to take which one of the advantages. The information that you discovered about it being an old religion, like there was quite a large almost diary article written by an old member of the society who has written about the practices of Flekkefjord and like a sort of a bit of a theory as to why they have persisted so well. So this will give one of you advantage in relation to the old religion in Flekkefjord, whether that be questioning them, finding them, interacting with them, asking people about it. You will get an advantage on that. The other one is about the business of Flekkefjord and how it has suddenly kind of boomed. They're having a real boom town. And so this is the same. It's the same advantage. However, rather than being about the old religion, it is about trade and business on the dock. So this will give you advantage when asking questions about trade or business on the dock, talking to any of the or like speaking to any of the business owners, like these enterprises. So you'll get an advantage relating to the trade and industry of the town.
Yeah.
Okay. Colonel. Looking at you, Colonel. I will allow you to decide whether you want to roll investigation or learning.
I believe you're on New Jack.
They are both exactly the same role, so investigation.
Ooh. Okay. All these fails. I'm not
you think-
hopeful.
Can I
I mean,
give
really?
my other +1 that I got before? Can
I'm not
I share?
hopeful. This I feel like there is bad juju. There's bad juju afoot. Okay, so you know that there's a whole portion of this library that seems to be devoted to like case files and diaries of past members of the society. You are able to find many references to a rolled gill. However, Rold's diaries are missing.
Oh.
This will give you advantage on finding or interpreting clues on the whereabouts of Rold. Now, while all of you are busy hitting the books, our last member is going to go and see if they can get some information from a slightly different source. Where do you intend to go to chat with Gaetir? You know that she does appear in the throne room from the fountains, or you could head out into Helvete.
Probably the throne room.
All right. Feel free to move your token then.
Just excuse me. I'm just.
Oh,
Oh. Breathe in. That's it. I think she said that. Was it the right she preferred or the left she preferred? I'll try the right. He leans in close to the water. Gator, are you there?
You see some bubbles rise up from the bottom of the fountain, and as these bubbles burst onto the surface, you just hear almost like a sighing breath sound as the bubbles pop. No.
Is this the answering service?
A few more bubbles rise up. Yes.
When Gator is available, I'd like to ask her about Vaesen in Flekkefjord. Whether there are any, what types there are.
You see some more bubbles rising up, and as they burst the surface, snacks.
What would you like this time?
There's just like a pause as no more bubbles rise up.
What have I been feeding Gator as such?
I mean, all sorts of... I mean, it's Max. How can I answer you on what you would feed Gator? Like, you'd sit and talk to a frog, as
Yeah, I would.
previously seen. What have you been feeding Gator?
Cake.
Fair.
Yeah, I take a muffin out of my pocket
Fair.
and just pop it on the side of the fountain.
You see this little green webbed hand come out of the water, take the muffin, and just take it back under the surface of the... into the waters of the fountain. And then, after only a moment, where you're almost certain you see a few crumbs start floating around inside the fountain, you see two little webbed hands appear on the edge of the fountain, and that beautiful green hair and two gigantic otherworldly eyes rise up out of the fountain.
Hello.
I always knew I liked you. Easy to bribe.
Indeed. It's because I make sure I always keep cake in my pockets.
Cake for Gator?
Yes, just in case.
Good. It's nice to have servants. And there's a little pause, and she kind of shoots you this little guilty look, and then she's like, guests? Again? And what did you want?
We're going to be going to Flekkefjord. We've received a letter.
Why would you do that?
Well, somebody's in danger,
Someone's always in danger.
but they might be a member of the society. And there's not exactly lots of us.
Nope, all gone.
And with the arrival of this potential other secret society that might be trying to undermine our own efforts or kill our own members, we figured we might need to go and get this one.
Fine.
What Vaesen are prolific in Flekkefjord?
Don't know, not been there.
Do you know anything about any of the Vaesen in that area?
Well, it's right near the sea.
Indeed.
So don't go out in a boat. That's my advice. Boats are dangerous and bad.
Why is that?
Have you never heard the stories of sea monsters?
Well, tales there
Oh, they're all
yes.
true. All of them. Every single one. Facts.
Oh. Okay.
Out of interest, how loud was Gatia saying that?
Oh, as loud, like... Get it like as loud as you like. And this hall is very echoey.
So loud enough that I heard it?
Oh, 100% yes.
I would like to come out and talk to Gatia. If that's possible, because I know...
Of course. I mean, like, absolutely. I mean, you...
We're going to end up talking about the consistency of snail droppings very shortly,
Yeah,
so feel free.
Anything can happen between these two.
I apologise for interrupting your conversation. Gatia, you know about sea monsters?
Gator knows everything.
Of course.
But just not what type of Vaesen live in Flekkefjord.
Well, I've not been there.
What kind of sea monsters do you know of?
Ooh, good question. Oh, it's like a quiz. All right, I'll ask you a question, you ask me a question, I ask you, you ask me. Keep going.
Yes.
Perfect. I'll go first. If you had to, which one of these people would you kill first?
And you can hear Elstrid sigh from the other room.
If I had to,
Yep.
I'd kill myself.
Ooh. What an unpleasant answer. I know who I'd kill first. Your turn.
What do you know of sea monsters?
Everything. My turn. Oh, good. Oh, how much cake would you pay me to splash that Elstrid woman every time she comes past the waterfall?
Hmm.
10 muffins a week.
Enough of the week.
Deal. Your turn.
What do you know of Leviathans?
Ooh. Leviathan. Leviathans are very big and very old. Maybe even older than Gator. They were here at the formation of the world. They gave it foundation and stability at the bottom of the sea, like the trolls hold up the mountains. Grand and old they are. And like man, they are all different. Some nice, Some not so much, but they are all wild and protect the sea. A problem if you are on the sea. My turn. How much do I have to pay you in cake to give me some peace and quiet?
10 cakes a week.
I mean, it's a deal. And then she's going to turn to you, Max, and be like, you need to pay him the cake for the splashing so that he leaves me alone and I splash that Elstrid woman. This is called business.
Okay, Gated. One final question.
Yes. And
Do you-
only one.
Okay. If I needed to talk to anybody in Flekkefjord when we get there, do you know of anybody or anything that I would need to speak to? And their name.
Tricky. I've never been. But every town has its own myths and legends. And there is always a shred of truth in every one.
I wonder if the library has any books on the myths and legends of Flekkefjord.
The books will tell the story, but the people will bring that story to life. Now I've got to go.
Okay. Here's half a muffin for the road.
She kind of eyes you suspiciously, like this is that there's some ulterior motive. And then she kind of snatches it quickly with her little webbed fingers, and then she kind of just melts away into the fountain, of which some of the water slops out onto the floor and gets both yours and the Colonel's shoes wet.
This is why I now wear boots.
I just kind of put my hand on the side of the fountain. He's going to go, thank you, Geertje.
Would you like the other half, Colonel?
And that's been in your pocket. Yes, Max.
Only for 2 days.
I've eaten worse. Yes, please.
Cool. And with that, what we'll do is we will start our travel montage. Max, your advantage. You are going to have advantage on finding or interpreting clues about Vaesen when you begin your investigation. So once during the mystery, you are able to use your advantage to basically get an extra dice when you are, I don't know, searching for clues, trying to solve a puzzle or anything to do with Vaesen.
And that's in the area of Flekkefjord.
Flekkefjord, yeah. All right.
Cool.
I'm going to quickly swap books while we do a travel montage. Okay.
I feel like girls just want to have fun is our background music.
I think more of the Ride of the Valkyries.
I was thinking
Very
that
similar
scene
lines.
out of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, with the shoe
Yeah.
on the top of the...
Dancing Queen playing in the background.
Okay, so your journey. You are able to arrange a travel on a coach from Espedalen to Hedal. And from there, you are able to get the train to Christiania and onwards to Flekkefjord. Now, this is a long journey as you are traveling a very significant distance within Norway. So the journey is actually a few days. We're heading into about a week of travel, all in all. Thankfully, there's no secondary carriage journey at the other end, as Flekkefjord has its own station. So although you have had to, because the coach, travel by road is the slowest of the travels, you are able to basically take the much speedier rail network. That being said, it is still about 7 days of travel. As you leave Espedalen and Hedal by train, well, Espedalen by carriage, Hedal by train, the journey cuts its way through mountains and fjords, carving its way through the very bones of this land, and then racing past the tributaries and arteries that the fjords create. The train journey is a strange one. For the entire time, there feels to be a ticking clock, a pressing of worried anxiety that closes in on you. For every moment that passes could be Rold's last moment. Their danger could close in on them, and you have no idea as to how they are faring. The journey seems to crawl its way along. The more time it takes, the longer it seems to need. And as you reach Christiania, all of you are travel-weary and anxious to get to the end of your journey and begin your investigation, to lend aid to potentially the first living member of the society that any of you will have met. You transfer over train at Christiania, and the journey changes. Now it is coastal, rising up and down across coastal cliff and mountain. The terrain closes in around you every now and then before bursting open to reveal a broad and endless sea of grey, crashing waves. One among you feels an added weight on their shoulders, an added weight on their chest, as they remember the horrors of the sea. Regardless of the joy and the excitement around you as other people travel to far-flung places or journey their way home, the four of you sit, tension rising. Eventually, the train begins to slow. On the very edges of your vision, you see a great town straddling a fjord. There are many houses layered up the sides of the fjord. It isn't particularly steep, but there is a deep terracing that leads down to the waterfront. And you see, crowding around the water like animals at a watering hole, vying for space, vying for access to that lifeblood, are all these warehouses, salt houses, smoke houses, the hubbub of industry. And you can see smoke rising from all of those buildings, reminding you of that new industrial nature of industry. This mechanical, coal-driven, steam-driven industry of today. And in stark contrast, mast upon mast upon mast of ship reach up into the sky like bony fingers, desperate to catch the breeze and travel on the wind, but tied down and bound to the edges of the dock. The train grumbles to a halt that feels ever so final to the four of you. You disembark, having arrived at the town of Flekkefjord, and you stand on the platform. And I will transfer you over to your town map.
Oh. Yeah. Okay.
Go a little bit up. Yep. You are the little swirly icon, and you are at the train station, which is just here.
Yeah.
Let me put some text down so that as you discover more buildings, you'll remember what they all are.
What are you talking about? We have excellent memory.
Absolutely, week to week to week to week.
There you go. There's your train station marker. You can see it's actually quite a busy town. And if you could imagine looking at this map, all of these rows that you can see are like terraces. So they're all like one row is a little bit higher than the next row and the next row and the next row as they kind of slope gently down toward the docks, which are here. So there are two very large warehouses down here, and there is the dock just in this area down here. This is you arriving in Flekkefjord.
Is there
will
a
you do?
station person around?
Yeah, absolutely. There are a couple of staff members that would be like on the platform. I mean, there would definitely be someone in the ticket hall.
Perfect. Going to wander over. And excuse me. I wonder if you can help me. When you're in town, just wondering if there's an inn by any chance that we could rent a few rooms from, please.
Absolutely. The individual that you have approached turns around. They are it's a young woman with blonde hair that's in a braid that has been drawn over one of her shoulders. She is wearing this very smart but quite practical suit. It has a slightly military feel about it, and it is embroidered with the logo of the Norwegian Rail Service, and just underneath in little letters, you can see the name Pernilla written. Ooh. And she turns and she smiles at you and she says, "Welcome to Flekkefjord."
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Places to see and stay. Well, the best place to go would be down at the docks, really. That is where the majority of travel and tourism is, really. As you can imagine, the town is mostly devoted to the dock.
Absolutely. And that would be the best place for guest houses, I'm guessing.
Yes, absolutely. We don't have one near the rail station yet. We are one of the
In the
enterprises.
market, perhaps.
The market is actually down by the dock. It saves us bringing things too far up. We can just get it from the warehouses I mean, we can get things straight from the ship. The fish is the freshest in the country.
Fair. And do you live here as well?
Yes, not far from the station.
Perfect. Maybe I'll end up seeing you around.
Well, yes, if you've got any questions, I'd be more than willing to help. It's always lovely to have guests in our town.
Pray tell, as with all towns, is there any local folklore about what to see and how to see it? You know, the mermaids in the bay, those sorts of things.
Well, funny you should say that, actually. There is a tavern down at the docks called the Mermaid. It can be a little rough sometimes, but in my opinion, if you want to experience the heart of Flekkefjord, that really is the place to go.
As salty as a sea dog, I can imagine.
Yes, exactly.
Perfect. If we have any other questions, are you the best person to come back to see?
Oh, well, I wouldn't say that I would be the best person. I am...
Just the nicest.
That's very sweet of you to say. I mean, I am here. I can offer you assistance. I am here most of the day. But honestly, when you get down to the dock, ask anyone. Most people will be willing to help you. We're a very friendly town.
Thank you. My name's Max, by the way, Maximilian.
Pernilla.
Lovely to meet you.
Well, I wish you a very pleasant stay.
Thank you.
While
Who are the
Max
dogs?
is doing that, can I just have a look around, see if there's any symbols for the society here? There might be someone trying to leave us little breadcrumbs.
Ooh. Yes, give me a vigilance roll.
Come on.
You have the best ideas and the worst roles.
This will be fine.
This is Jack rolling. Yes!
Oh my gosh, this is success.
See? Just like to believe.
2.
What you do notice, it catches your attention. I mean, it would definitely catch your attention, Colonel, because it's something that you wouldn't be super familiar with seeing. There is a niche in the wall of the station. It's recessed into the wall, and in the wall, in the wall there is a wooden there's a wooden statue. It's quite roughly like it's a very folk style of carving, this wooden carving. It is of a it is of a rather stout looking male, partially wearing armor. Half of it seems to be like a cape, and it's a rather sort of folky carving of this individual. You're almost certain that it looks like someone has taken a cup of blood and has tipped it over the top of this wooden statue. So it's kind of run down the statue, or this wooden carving, and all around it are things, like lots of little things. There are coins, there are candles, there's food, there's stones, there's little trinkets, like all, like filling the space all around this statue. And it immediately catches your eye because the inside this little niche, there is an iron troll cross that has been sort of screwed into the wall behind the statue, and then just underneath it there is like a hammer, but they're kind of flat. Like, imagine someone took an iron rod and just formed it into the shape and then kind of screwed it into the wall, and then someone has made like a kind of like a flat hammer, maybe about that wide, more stylized than functional, and that has also been screwed into the wall behind this statue.
Once Max has finished talking, I'll try to call everyone over so they can see this. Does anyone else on the stations need to take any attention to this, or is this like quite out of the way?
It's not right in the middle of the station. Like, it's not like it's bang right next to the door. It is, you would imagine someone has put a little bit of thought into this and kind of selected, like, where would be quietest on the platform, and that's where they've put it. You do notice that one of the people who got off of the train did go over to it and just momentarily just drop something on it, whether it was a coin or some sort of trinket, you're not really sure, but they did go and place something at the feet of this carving.
Do I recognise what the carving is of from any of the Vaesen books that we've kind of looked through that time at the library? Is it something?
Well, it's not a Vaesen. Are any among you old faithers?
Yes.
Then you would know that this is Meili, who is the brother of Thor, and has kind of de facto become the god of travel in this kind of train, ship, this newfangled airship is also, old faithers tend to say prayers to Meili if they know that they're going to be travelling. And this, you now, like, all of you now know 100% for certain that this is an old faither town. So this is like an old, this is like a little offering niche that has been tucked into the station so that people can place offerings to Meili so that he blesses them with safe travels. But this is one of those things that probably only old faithers would really know, because, like, it's not... The Mythic North is in a bit of a state of flux as to... It's still in religious flux. And this... So this is like... For the Colonel, who grew up in Christian Britain, it would be it would just be some sort of weird mystery, and you'd kind of know maybe it was some sort of like paganism of some description, and probably related to the old faith. But you'd need to be an old faither to know like who it was, and to know the prayer, and know the those sort of things.
Do any of you know who this is then?
The statue?
Sadly, I am not well versed.
This is Meili. He's the brother of Thor. The people around here have kind of adopted him as their god of travel. So you'll find him in train stations and docks and whatever we're going to call those airship places. Maybe airports might catch on. I don't know.
Air dogs sounds cool.
Air dock.
Skyport.
I like skyports
Skyport.
too.
It seems to suggest that this is a kind of a old town, worshipping the old religions rather than the new ones.
Yes. It's going to be a bit like Espadalen when we first went there. There might be the odd missionary or two who could be in the area.
Talking about that, do I see anybody that is looking as, suspicious looking people?
No, actually, and you've been
Like, we
left.
kind of stood out a bit, I think, between the group of the four of us. I'm like, is anybody kind of looking towards us?
I mean, you don't stick out as bad as like a group in D&D would stick out, because at least you're all kind of, you're all period dressed and you're all human.
That we know so far.
Yeah, but you've been mostly left on the platform. Like, the only people who really are still here are the staff who are working here on the platform. You can see Pernilla has gone over to a large chalkboard and is like, it is like rubbing bits out and adding like when the next trainers are coming and where those sort of things.
Yeah.
But other than that, you've basically been left on the platform.
Okay.
Apparently, according to this lovely lady over here, the best place for a guest house is down towards the docks. There's potentially one called the Mermaid if we wish to get a real sense of the town.
Hello, Docktown.
I don't think securing some kind of lodgings might be our best move. We don't have any plans as yet, do we? We don't know where we're going, what we're looking for. Let's secure some lodgings.
Yeah.
Precisely.
From there.
Knowing our luck, this Rold will live in the trees somewhere and only have a small shed.
I don't mind sleeping in the woods.
It's the ants.
You need to know where to camp. I will teach you one day.
If you would, that would be great. Shall we make a move down towards the docks then?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know who has control of the token, but
Probably no one.
yeah, I don't.
Is it fairly obvious which way the docks are? Just so we're looking down the hill.
Yeah, you're
Not
higher
doing it
up.
well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, you can see down the hill where the docks are. I've given you all the ability to move the token, so please don't fight.
You're all over the place. Why not pick it up and then move it?
Left, right.
Mine.
Hey, to you, to me, to you.
Hello.
Not it.
So, as you walk, as you're now looking at the town and you're walking through it, Flekkefjord is beautiful. You are you have the backdrop of mountains off in the distance. You have this beautiful fjord that cuts and wends its way through the land. And you can tell that this town is prosperous. Like, all the houses are in good condition. They are there's a bit of a mixture. There are some houses that are of a very new style, with slate roofs. There are some that have a bit of an older style made of wood, the more traditional cabin style. And there are a few houses here that are really kind of showing off and have turf roofs and are built in a really traditional style. But they are all very well kept. There's little flower boxes and They're well decorated. Some of the houses, the more modern ones that have had like a plaster put over the front of them, are actually brightly coloured, kind of giving this like almost reminding you a little bit of like Bergen, the old, like all the really beautiful like paintings and little postcard things that you get for Bergen with the brightly coloured houses all along the front. Like, it's giving you that feel, and it's very prosperous and well off. And everyone you see walking the streets is like, no one looks poor. No one looks poor.
Okay.
Is there quite a big range of businesses and shops as we pass through?
Christmas shops.
Christmas shops.
Not yet.
I can't, honestly, I can't. The reason Michael says Christmas shop is because when we went to Bergen,
Those
there is
brightly coloured buildings.
there is an
are
all
Christmas
year
shops.
round Christmas shop. All year round Christmas shop.
2 of them were Christmas shops.
Yeah, it was a place. It was a place. Yes, there is a lot of business here, but then that makes a lot of sense because this is like a real heart of like international trade. So there's going to be a huge amount of people who have brought in trades. Because they can basically get the raw materials delivered to their door. So there are a lot of artisans here, as well as there's a lot of artisans here making things. There's a lot of sort of tool makers, carpenters, wainwrights. There are a couple of quite odious rope makers as you pass by. So you can tell there's like a real clash of people who devote their lives to the ships and people who devote their lives to what comes off of the ships. And there's this clash as you walk through the streets of Flekkefjord.
Is there a possibility that I've got contacts here?
That is a good question. It's possible. It's possible. Do you have a solid connection to one of the like large trading enterprises? Otherwise, this is going to be one of those, like, you're guaranteed to bump into like an old sea dog.
The connection that my family has is the steel trade. We were the main importers and exporters of steel during the Napoleonic War to build the ships. So I know Flekkefjord wasn't big on steel in that time.
This is a wood. This is wood, ship wood in particular. Yeah. This town is all about. Literally, it was built on its lumber supply, mostly to the Denmark and Netherlands.
So there's the possibility of probably an old captain or something that worked for us as opposed to an actual trade.
Yeah, I mean, you know that after the war, like a huge number of Navy men ended up joining the crews of cargo ships and the like, because they didn't really have anywhere else to go. So yeah, it would be This is probably one of those places where you're going to bump into an old pirate that you know. That kind of feel.
Yep. I'll keep an eye out. If I see anyone.
As you draw closer to the docks, something catches your eye, and it would eventually catch each of you. It would eventually catch each of your eyes. Something off on the horizon, rising up out of the water, quite some way away from the dock, like really in the where the deep water would be.
Mm-hmm.
Rising up out of the water is at first it looks like a ship it just looks like a ship on the water, but the more you look at it, the more you realize that it is at such a jaunty angle. And you realize that this ship, it's not sailing on the waters, it's drowning in them. It is a wreck. A wreck that seems to desperately be trying to tread water, desperately try to keep its hull up just over the surface, trying to escape its watery grave. And it looks eerie.
Not spooky at all.
Why do I have a feeling that this is where we're going?
It would look...
Because you know you're a character that knows what movie they're in.
It would look even more eerie to the Colonel, who would be able to tell, even from this distance, would be able to tell that this isn't a ship that's like run onto a sandbank. Like, it's not a ship that's just fallen foul of a sandbank or some underwater rocks or something, and it's just sort of sat out there slowly sinking. Like, that's a proper wreck. And it's all dark, meaning at some point it was all underwater, and now it isn't.
Okay.
And that's why it would look particularly eerie to all of you, because it looks wrong. It would look out of place. It's the Colonel who can put his finger on it and say, like, that should be completely underwater, but it isn't.
So from this distance, we can't see any, like, high tide lines on it or anything like that. So this was underwater, and it's now dropped almost... Not so much suddenly, but it's been revealed within the last few weeks or months, essentially.
Yes, that exactly.
Kind of
And it's not.
bristling seaweed and kelp through the bits that are exposed.
I will relay that to the group.
Consider it relayed.
That's not normal. It means the water level just dropped suddenly.
Or there's something that keeps it wet.
Or buoyant.
A voice from behind you makes you all jump, as a little old voice goes, "Aye, you'd be right there."
I turn.
I think we all do.
Behind you is a well-dressed and quite well-groomed, much older gentleman. He has a silver beard that has been shaped to perfection, and he has basically white hair at this point that he's got tucked under an old sailor's cap. And he has a clay pipe hanging from the side of his mouth. The fragrant scent of tobacco kind of wafts gently over to you. He is wearing... He's not wearing a navy uniform or like a sailor's uniform, but everything about his clothes say that he's a sailor. But he is ancient. Grizzled and sun-beaten.
Don't make me play mother.
They're like, Colonel, was he or one of your subordinates?
Bad omen. Bad omen is that sprung up from the waves a few weeks back. Now it looms there ominously.
It just rose on its own accord.
Just one morning. There it was. As the sun rose, so did the ship.
Has anybody investigated it?
Not that I know of. Everyone's a bit too suspicious to go rummaging around on a rising grave.
Weren't you aware that there was a ship already sunk out there?
I would wager the entire bottom is littered in ships. Strange are the waves. Stranger are the tides.
What era does this ship hail from?
Ooh.
It's an old one. Older than I'd reckon.
So only 30 odd years then.
He chuckles, and it's that kind of like rumbly, raspy chuckle of someone who probably should have stopped smoking like 30 years ago.
Are you really going to flirt with everybody?
Yes.
Eh.
You must be new about if you haven't seen the wreck.
Yeah,
We
that's
just
right.
arrived.
Are you here on business or pleasure?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Good answer. You'll find nearly everyone here is a bit of both.
You never want to put your eggs all in one basket, now do you?
Quite. That is a recipe for disaster.
A good omelette.
Yes, I hadn't thought of it. But it's a disaster if you want a basket of eggs. So it is a matter of perspective.
It usually is.
Well, doom. That's what they're saying. It is a doom on the town. It is a warning that bad luck is going to fall upon us all. So I'd say, get your business done while your luck's up, and then run off before it runs out.
Just a question, would you say that this town has been lucky over the recent years?
Lucky?
Or more lucky than normal?
Lucky? We have prospered greatly. I'd say that's quite lucky. I hear the towns and cities, inland and north, are riddled with poverty, and we have none of that here. Favourable winds and good tides have blessed us. Word on the dock is, even they are changing. They blame the wreck.
You referred to it as a rising grave. Did all who were aboard perish then?
No one. Not everyone escapes a sinking ship. Very few do. And those that do, fewer can swim.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even if you can swim, a ship, when it is sinking, sucks you down beneath the waves. Colonel? Colonel?
Yeah.
Let's warm those dice up, shall we? Can you give me a fear check? So either a logic or an empathy roll. As you hear this old sea dog quite rightly describe the state of play when a ship is sinking.
Oh my god. Oh.
Oh. Clutch!
My pearls were indeed clutched for that entire roll.
That is a success. You're able to. You know that this gentleman is just describing the state of play, and there is a reverence in his voice that kind of almost soothes or calms you, rather than disturbs you.
My knuckles are still turning white on the hilt of my saber. Just from the thought.
That is
Not
why I
out.
call...
She said.
Oh, go on. We all went all at once then.
That's fine.
Go on, Colonel.
Not out of anger. It's not like it's just out of a second oneself.
Hmm.
And no, that's not what she said.
Oh, for God's sake. And this very old sea dog continues. That's why I call it a rising grave. Every ship at the bottom of the sea is a grave. I've never known one to go down empty.
Except for those that are already empty when they set sail.
Have you ever heard of such a thing?
Defective ships. Ones that cannot be saved or salvaged.
Look at me, how rude. I have kept you all this time and you're here for business and pleasure. You shouldn't let this old salty sea dog take up any more of your precious time. You should head down to the docks and go about your business.
Where would you recommend going down towards the docks?
It depends what you're looking for.
First off, we need accommodation, good sir.
The mermaid always has rooms. And good beer.
How about
Well,
you?
unsold.
Now go, come on, don't lollygag any longer. Otherwise, you'll be rimed with salt before you know.
Before we leave, what's your name, sir?
That is a good question.
And
And
what day of the week is
The
it?
whole time I had been prepared for you to ask me, and then I closed the tab.
We waited for that point. We saw
I
it
know,
change
right?
the
What
glasses.
is done on purpose?
Okay, he says, the name's Torbjorn.
Torbjorn.
Mountain bear. Bear.
I use
that what
I
it is?
use a random name generator, and that was the one that came up.
So Bjorn is bear. Tor
Tor
is
is
mountain
like a
or
hill.
large hill. That wasn't me questioning you as your like, it was just like mountain bear.
That's cool.
Yeah.
While we were talking, was there any date on the letter?
No,
No
there was
dates
no
dancing
date
out
or
into-
anything. It gave you the impression that it was hurried.
Went
Would
through
you know
5
how-
countries to get to us.
Yeah. Would we know how long it can take via post to get from here to?
With the number, the number of like postage stamps and stuff on it. It's been in postage for a long time.
So we may be too late already. That's a fun thought. Okay. Well, thank you, sir. Your help has been appreciated.
And we hope to see you again soon.
Good sailing.
And to you.
Calm seas.
And favourable winds.
Just nod my head.
And he gives you a little tip of his like cap.
Yeah.
And as you guys head down towards the dock, that is where we will take a short break.
Yes.
We're going to take a little break because I have overrun in my excitement. I've overrun quite badly, actually, like 15 minutes badly. Hashtag pro streamer. We're going to take a short break. Players, 15 minutes.
Perfect. I'm just going to begin a mystery.
All right, lovely. We're going to take a short 15-minute break. We'll be back just before 10 o'clock British summertime. Because I don't know where everyone else is. But yeah, we will be 15 minutes starting from now. See you then.
Right.
Evening, evening. Welcome back. We have had our short rest. We've rolled some hit dice. We've had some consumables. A couple of people have knocked back health potions in a desperate attempt to try and feel more human. And we are ready to carry on our adventure. So we're just going to slide straight over. Why wait? Slither straight over. So after your encounter with the salty old sea dog, you are left on the streets of Flekkefjord, looking kind of down towards the dock and towards the shipwreck off in the distance. What are you guys going to do?
I mean,
Down towards the mermaid.
yeah, I think that's our main aim for right now.
Yeah, head down there. Find the
I
mermaid.
s-
Get our rooms.
Yeah, I still want to keep an eye out if people are start to look at us or something like that, because last time we kind of clocked the priest kind of soon. So yeah, that's
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, I want to keep an eye out to see any like market stalls or shops that seems to be struggling, or maybe aren't. Maybe some of the market stalls are empty, whereas they used to be busy. So if there's a drop in trade, obvious drop in trade for them.
Yeah. Okay. So, in answer to your question, Colonel, one of the things you're going to notice is that just is not the case. There is not a single shop, stall, stand, window that isn't prosperous, isn't full to bursting. Every stall has got stuff on it. There's trade, there's commerce. Every shop window has got things in it. There are customers coming in and out of shops. So much so that it feels odd. Like it's noticeable. It's noticeable how well off and prosperous this town is. And how there is a distinct lack of poverty. This very large building, by the way, this large square building that you are just walking past is the town hall.
which one? That one, big one.
This big one just here, yep.
Does it look busy, like activity-wise?
It doesn't necessarily look busy, but I mean it's very well kept, very well presented. And there is there are a few people. There does seem to be a little bit of coming and going from it. Mostly what looks like maybe dock officials bringing like records or dock fees, that sort of thing.
Okay.
As we pass through, can I keep an eye out for things like troll crosses and things that I'd maybe expect to see, like we did in the other town? I've forgotten his name already.
Borgand.
Borgand, yeah. There's troll crosses on the outside of one of the buildings, but not so many of the others.
Yeah,
So,
whereas here, it is almost every house, every building has got either a troll cross, a hammer, like a kind of knotwork. Like almost every single house has got one or more of those kind of items, those combinations of things.
Yeah.
Quite a pretty town.
Yep.
Busy. I've never seen a Dogtown so busy.
You would expect there to be some kind of poor district or somewhere where there's struggling sailors or something like that, wouldn't you? In the town
Even
place.
just lower level class.
Yeah, there's always going to be that kind of class in a town, in a city.
Perhaps the wealth is just distributed a bit more evenly here.
Or there's something keeping it to sink from sinking.
We shall have to ask at the pub.
Yeah.
Also, I'm thinking of finding out where the dockmaster is.
Good idea. Possibly in the pub as well.
Ask the dockmaster if anything's changed. The older sea dog we spoke to said the sailors are commenting on the winds changing.
Mm.
You might know a little bit more about that. Or they might know a little bit more about that.
If we could maybe get access to some records, we might be able to find out how and when this prosperity started.
Yeah.
Whether there was anything to cite.
We kind of already know a bit that the fact that it started for sure with the wars and after that because it became a safe city. That's kind of what we said before.
Yeah, Flekkefjord really hit the maps after the war. Well, during and after the war.
Yeah. So we need to check if it's just from there or if something else happened, I guess.
Yeah, well, there was another force involved or something involved at that time.
Yeah. We keep the stroll going towards the mermaid, and I guess we're kind of seeing also if there's like group of people like going specific places that may not be the pub.
Okay, well, you head all the way down and on to the docks. And
Oh, yeah, also, do we see anything related to like temples like we saw, Vel?
no, you don't actually.
Hmm.
Yeah, you don't. There's nothing kind of visually around or nearby that you see. Kind of, obviously, you're a little bit higher. You're looking down. You can't really see anything that looks.
Because we know it's an old religion town, but we've only saw that kind of altar
Yeah.
thingy at the train station.
It is daytime, isn't it?
We're assuming so.
All right, you make your way down onto the docks. Oh, that's. We don't want that. We want that. All right, down by the dock.
I can't see that.
That is because I didn't give you eyeballs, and I obviously copied you. There you go, fixed.
Have you got your monocle in now? These are like a pair of strapping twins here.
I'm also just going to make sure that everybody appreciates this as much as I do. But let me zoom in. Starfish!
What?
Starfish!
There is. Oh, is that with your layers upon layers upon layers
Yep.
of maps in the
But
map
most importantly,
making?
starfish. I just
The
thought
waves
it was
Anybody who didn't catch
laid over
the
the top of the.
exactly. For anybody who didn't catch the map making stream last week,
yeah, layers upon layers upon layers. Also, do you see the this is just for Jack. Jet, do you see the like well-worn paths on the dock?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, just for you. I did it just for you, really. I also like there's a random mooing in the docks district sound. Okay, so you go down to the docks. The docks are well-worn and bustling. There is cargo of all descriptions littering the docks. Rope, nets, barrels, crates, stacked up on one another or out on their own. There are dock hands everywhere, loading and unloading ships. And everyone is either in a state of busyness, dealing with a ship, or is seemingly has somewhere to go, or has somewhere that they need to be. It bustles. I didn't put 100 tokens on the dock because I just didn't. But like, you get the idea. It's very, very bustly, and you're walking along the outside of one of the smaller warehouses, which is just this door here. This is just one of the smaller warehouses, but your attention is drawn by a rather gaudy looking wooden carving of a mermaid that is hanging from an iron rail that juts out slightly onto the dock, and this sign sort of flaps gently in the wind, and it's a rather gaudy looking but rather traditional like sailor's tattoo mermaid. So she's got that like curly bright green tail, her knockers are completely out and about.
Of course.
Because like, who needs a starfish bra? No one needs a starfish bra. You can just have your knockers out and about. And it is for God's sake, pack it in.
It's your fault.
Don't make me. I'm gonna have to tweak the content warning at the start and be like, this contains not suitable for work stuff, as well as all this dark folk horror. And you can hear like the hubbub from kind of the inside. I'll add some tavern hubbub.
Hubbub.
I'm assuming means noise.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Context, people.
Yes, for the non-native English
Yeah, but,
speaker.
I can't do the humorous thing of Googling it in Italian and then just butchering it as I try and say so.
You have a good pronunciation most of the time.
Just for those that missed it, the auto mod caught Starfish Bra in its ban list and asked all the moderators if Starfish Bra was suitable for going in the chat just now.
Yeah. I have allowed it.
Thank you, moderator, for allowing Starfish Bra in the chat.
Oh my god.
Oh dear.
I think that's our first auto mod.
No, we had right at the beginning, if you remember, we had an auto mod that serially was banning
Yes, everything.
long
Long sentences, everything.
Yeah, and then it just picked on one person because it kept saying they were emote spamming. Do you remember?
Captain Charizard.
Charizard, yeah.
Anyway, back to the dock. So there's the sign hanging, and you can hear the hubbub from the inside. There are two lanterns hanging outside, one on either side of the door, that are already lit, almost as if someone is planning on not being able to come out and light them as the sun begins to set. The dock rumbles gently with the pounding of the waves creating a kind of reverb across the dock. To some, it is a soothing sensation, whereas others, it feels a little unnerving, as if the ground isn't quite solid. And you hear the sound of the lapping waves, the birds overhead. You can see the crews disemboweling the vessels onto the deck so that the contents can be sorted through and transported outwards. Almost like some strange mechanical version of the whaling that used to happen quite a lot in these parts. But now, rather than whales, it's these large creations of man. The smell of the sea, that salty, saline kind of smell that kind of bites into your nose ever so slightly, as if it is the freshest of smells, but also it has a pungency that makes it heavy. And layered into that is the ever so faint wafts from the other side of the fjord of herring and smoke and salt.
Out of interest, as the ship has arisen because of the water dropping, can I see the watermarks on the dock here and how much have changed?
No. Well, you can, but they haven't changed. The water line around the dock isn't any different to... Other than, like, you can tell it's tidal here, but that the water never goes all the way out. So it's tidal in so much as it rises and then sinks, but there's always enough water here that ships can come in and out.
So the ship is rising rather than the water going down.
That is what
Or
it
has
looks like
risen
from what
as
you
such.
can see.
Yeah.
Has the ship seemed to move any higher since we've been walking further down? Or is it just sort of is it bobbing in the water? Is it like a bobbing
No,
in the
it's
water?
not bobbing.
It's static.
It is static. It's like frozen in it. Down at the dock, like, it's even more ominous because it's like at that angle as if it's like about to just sink back into the water, like it's gonna do that capsizing, you know, one side lifts up and then it goes down. But it is frozen in time, in some agonizing reaching for the sky, as if desperate to escape a dark and cold grave of the sea.
I would just like to look at it for a moment, pull out a cigar, light up and just watch it for a moment, eyes kind of glazing over for just a second before following this.
As you kind of all take a little moment to sort of settle, look over at this ship, the kind of bustle of the dock moves around you, and you overhear a group of sailors as they walk past your group, talking quite loudly about how lucky they are that how lucky they are in that they missed that changing current that shouldn't have been there, and about how mad it is that even after years and years of sailing these waters, like either that was a tide and a current that none of them knew about, or like the tides, like the water is changing. The way the water flows out there is changing. And they're kind of bantering in a kind of, they're really bantering in an argy-bargy way, like, but you all get the sensation, like, it is because of a near miss. They're on that kind of high of having survived their death. Like, death came calling for them, but that day was not, that was not their day.
Are they heading towards the inn or away from it?
They're just walking along the dock, chatting and talking. They probably are going to be heading towards a place to get drink, or they might in fact be heading back to ship, or...
Walter will sort of sigh and then I shall head inside and see whether we can secure some kind of lodgings for the night.
It's, it's this door just here.
Max is trying to avoid the well-worn paths.
Notice that.
I feel like the boat was nice.
You can see as you approach, I mean, Max, you can certainly see, there are two really large windows. There are two really large windows in the side of the tavern. And then there's the door that's positioned right between the lanterns. And these windows must afford like a really nice view of like the dock and the ships and the water. And yes, you will have noticed, Michael, Roll20 have included a transparent wall.
They have.
I was very excited today when I found that there's a transparent wall, meaning I can now
like-
put windows you can't get through.
It's cool.
I know,
I literally cannot drag Max through it.
because it's glass. You can see...
Single
on
glaze
the-
or double glazed?
Probably single. You can see beyond a rather warm, rustic-looking tavern that is populated with a number of people. Oh, I should probably open the door, shouldn't I?
Let us in. Don't want it to knock.
Knock, knock, knock. Let us
Doors. Wings open.
in. They're a set of triplets. Quads. I'm gonna grab us a table.
I'm gonna follow in, keeping an eye on the colonel until I actually get in.
Yeah, once I realise you've started heading off, I'll follow.
Alstrid, I'm gonna get us a table.
Thanks. I'll get a round of drinks, I guess.
Do we want to sit next to the puddle? I'll sit Alstrid next to that. She won't.
I mean, I also forgot to say that obviously Skadi is with me for all of this tobacco, and she's gonna, the dog look of saying what?
As I described your view through the window, the tavern is, I used the word rustic. Rustic was my code word for, this is a tavern frequented by a lot of sailors. And it is very clearly this, it has, and probably will be again in the future, be the site of some argy-bargy. So all of the furniture is functional and robust so that it can survive a tavern brawl. And the decorations of this place are like... There's like a giant fish taxidermy of when one of the old fishermen caught the biggest fish ever, and it's taxidermied on the wall. There's going to be like a painting. There's going to be a couple of paintings, not the best ones, but paintings of like the Napoleonic War, of like the blockade runners. There's probably going to be, there's going to be some fishing nets and other sea paraphernalia. It's that kind of establishment. But it is warm, and it has it's not menacing. It has a sort of friendly atmosphere to it. And you can tell that there's a real mix of people. There's like an old... you can see there's an old couple sitting at the bar together. There's another couple sitting over by the fireplace, and they're clearly not sailors. There's an old sailor in the corner. There's a pair of sailors sitting at a table. So it is a real mixture between townsfolk and sailors.
I'm gonna quickly look at my companion and said, "Everybody wants a drink? Or does everybody want?" I'm gonna quickly go.
I'll head to the bar also. I'll choose my ticket. We'll discuss the rooms at the same time.
There.
Could I have a mead, please?
Mead. Carl.
Same.
Mead. Oh. Yeah, sorry, I'm gonna step on this side and not the puddle side.
Is it got closer to evening now? We still.
It is afternoon time, so it's not quite evening yet. Like the sun is still up. So it's sort of afternoon. So it gives you the the feeling that there's probably a few people who have coming in to catch like quiet happy hour before the hordes descend upon the tavern. As you're kind of all standing there, there's a door in the bar, and it swings open. And I'm just going to grab any old token. Any old token will do at this point. It swings open, and a woman comes out through the door. So just there, through the door. And she is carrying plates of food. And you get the scent of... broth and fish, potatoes, vegetables, like really bread, kind of really hearty smell of warm, stout food. And she kind of makes her way round the guy who's serving drinks at the bar, and she makes her way over to the table with the two sailors on, and serves them food. As you get to the bar, there's a rather large gentleman who looks like he would be capable of carrying one of these barrels on his shoulder. That gives you an idea. Very stout-looking figure. He also looks like he would be able to pull two sailors apart, just like with his bare hands, bash their heads together and throw them out the door. That kind of gentleman. And he is standing behind the bar, and he comes over to you two, and he says, "Afternoon."
Afternoon.
What can I get you?
I am gonna pay for the drinks. Morton, do you want to meet as well?
Yes, I think I'll have a mead. That'd be very nice, thank you.
Then yeah, four pints of mead.
Pints?
Oh,
Oh yeah.
Clutch. Pearls are clutched. And he says, will you have a gold or a red?
Oh, gold, please.
Yeah, let's go for that.
4 golds, yeah?
Yeah.
Perfect. And he goes over to the side and he brings back 4 rather... they're not wine glasses. This isn't being served in wine. They're like... they're...
Like tumblers.
They're quite stout-looking tumblers, yeah. 4 of them. And on the inside, when he said gold, he really meant it. Like, it is a really deep honey gold colour. Really, really rich honey gold colour.
There.
And he pops them onto the bar for you, and you exchange some coins. And this lady starts returning to the kitchen.
Do you also have a menu for food?
Yes, of course. He reaches under the bar, and he gets, and he passes you to, They're like it's a clipboard. This is
Okay.
what it is. It's a clipboard. Except it's not a clip. Okay. He gives you like these boards, and set into the board has been a piece of slate, and written on the slate in chalk is the menu. And he's gonna slide them over to you. The menu is not very big, don't worry. It's quite a small menu.
Yeah, I'm assuming there's like fish, soup.
Dried fish.
Yeah,
There's gonna be like there's gonna be like a fish stew. There's gonna be like fried fish and potatoes. There's gonna be lamb as well.
meat option.
Yeah, there's gonna be lamb.
Yeah.
Like the sort of area that you're in is quite good for like some livestock, but not all. Like it's a bit hilly for. It's a bit hilly for coos. And there is a sweet option as well, which is some sort of pudding. It's just called sweet pudding.
Fair.
Oh, and there's bread and cheese, obviously. Like that, just as an option.
Yeah, for the vegetarian side, you can only choose bread and cheese.
But really, interestingly, like the things that you notice on this menu, like you're just kind of glancing at the menu, but it's like bread, cheese, and olives, which is like that's something that is very unusual.
Yeah.
But they have access to it because this is an international seaport. But it's, you know, there's a few things that do catch your eyes, like olives on a menu for a tavern.
What's
Eyebrow
this?
raise, that's fancy.
An Italian antipasto?
That's fancy.
Okay. I'll start bringing everything over to the table.
I shall help take anything over if there's anything needed, and then I shall return to the bar to speak to the gentleman again. We would be looking to secure some kind of board for the evening. We're not entirely sure how long we should be staying, but we'll at least tonight, like one night, for the 4 of us. Would that be something that's
Is that 4 separate rooms or combinations thereof?
4 separate rooms.
I
Awesome.
don't care.
Of course. We do have enough space. You're lucky. We had a ship leave dock early this morning, and that cleared most of the rooms, so we do have availability.
How fortuitous. We shall take.
He takes some details from you. He takes a little payment and hands out some keys to you all as well. They're exactly what you think they are. It's like a big key on a rope with a ball at the end that's made of some obviously floating material.
Or
There.
They're very themed. It's very themed.
I mean,
It's very nautical.
as long as it's not a seashell.
That's the theme, nautical theme. And you're able to secure some rooms. Now, while you are at the bar, securing some rooms, Morton, give me a... Ooh, give me... I'm gonna say... I feel like I want to say... investigation.
Yeah, that sounds good to
Yeah,
me.
give me an investigation check.
Specific.
uh-oh.
Woo!
Yay!
Good choice of skills to do the check.
You overhear the conversation of the old couple. I kind of gave you the option for this because I made the assumption that Morton was listening to everything and everyone, but casually.
Oh yeah, that's Morton all over.
You eavesdrop on the old couple at the bar. They say something that catches your interest, so you focus your hearing onto the pair of them and listen into their conversation. They are talking about... Turn my page in my campaign book. They're talking about the death of a woman called Hjördis. And how her replacement, Kato, leaves a little to be desired.
Why do I feel like with the cast of Midsummer Murders, where wherever we turn up, there's always a murder?
As long as it's not like 1 every 5 minutes, we're good.
Now, from the conversation that you're over here, I'll give you some metadata. There you go, using terminology over here. Give you some metadata. By listening in on the conversation, you are able to kind of piece together, because you got 2 successes, you are able to piece together that this woman, Hjördis, who has passed away, has done so from old age. Okay, so it's not mysterious at all. She has passed away from old age. And it's been fairly recent, like within the last sort of few weeks.
Thanks for the details.
She is someone of some importance, and they use a word to describe her that you're not familiar with, and you kind of log it in the back of your mind that you probably should ask Max about it. The word is Gothi.
Goldie?
Gothi. It's a very gentle TH sound.
Just spelled gothy. That's all that.
Is it bad that I know what symbol that is?
Yeah, Ether. Yeah. They use a term, and you kind of get the feeling that this is a woman of some importance. Like, she clearly holds, like, this sounds like a title. And her replacement, Kato, I mean, the feeling that you get is that he's just not cutting the mustard.
So I get a feeling that this woman's been replaced by a man.
Yeah.
I get that. I pick that up.
Yeah, like her apprentice, who now has taken over,
Okay.
and he's just not as good.
Return to the table with the keys and that piece of information. Relay that back to Max. I'm just wondering. I've just overheard some, well, possibly interesting information. There has been a death in the town of someone I think could be important, but I don't know who they are. That it's a ghoul thief. Are you aware of what a ghoul thief is? Or who they would be?
Yeah, I can see you now going, GM, do I know what this is? The answer is yes, you do. It's an Old Norse word that has kind of been. It's an Old Norse word that's been has been applied to describe like a community leader from a religious sense. Now I have to be really careful because it's not a priest. It's not a priest. It is like a religious community leader. So this isn't someone that is preaching or reading from a book or speaking gospel or kind of it's not that. This is more like a community cultural kind of leader who it more tends to. Does that make sense? In my head, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
A spiritual leader for the religious community.
Just to let you know, Gus, you're a little quiet. I've just had a look. I was like, I'll turn you up. I can't turn you up anymore. So you might need to shout.
I've just got to shout at you, have I now?
If you could. Just like, I'll fiddle around with my turn.
Knobs and
I
buttons.
tried to turn us up on you, so you're just going to have to shout.
Fair play, I'll see if I can change my settings too.
But yes, so that is the information. So kind of piecing that together, like with that extra piece of information, it sounds like the religious leader of the town has passed away and been replaced by her apprentice, who is just a wet blanket. It's just not as fabulous.
Blanket.
I'm absolutely living for these cat ears.
I know, right?
Absolutely.
That's why I ducked down that you can get them on the chair, so it's all permanent. There you go.
I wonder, and I hope I am wrong with this wondering, whether or not Rolled G is the same person.
Wouldn't that be more of a surname, that G, more than the title of Goldie?
Depends how they would use it.
That's fair.
But either way, the death of another spiritual leader or a member of the spiritual community in a place to where we've just turned up is a little unnerving.
But that has happened in just before we arrived.
Could be worth checking into as to whether or not the death of the spiritual leader and the rising of the ship could be possibly connected, and maybe wildly.
I think we need to find a way to, let's say, ask around about Rold without actually asking around. Which is gonna be fun.
Let's ask questions without asking any questions.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good plan.
Just sidle up against not lots of people and listening on their conversations.
Chapter 3 goes into 2023 of Luke just having to make up loads of inane conversation.
Perfect. Feels like an aim to me, but
Yeah.
Honestly, you
Next.
don't scare me. I've been doing this long enough now. You don't scare me.
Is that a challenge?
I mean, please, by all means.
But we have rooms.
Yes, I've managed to secure the rooms for the evening.
Oh,
I've
they're
only done-
upstairs. I probably should have said that. They're upstairs.
I'm not asking you, GM.
I'll hand round various keys. I haven't particularly organised any of the rooms for who's who, but I've got one each for everybody, so I'm hoping they're all the same.
Could I have an odd-numbered key, please?
Yeah, well, yes, of course. Not a surprise.
Thank you.
You enjoy the mead, which is exquisite.
Of course.
It is one of those meads that is. It is light, but full of weight and flavour, and leaves a real gentle but lingering warmth with it.
That nice warmth.
You order food as well.
Yes.
And the food comes out, and it is simple. You know, this isn't French cuisine or anything. It is simple, but it is wholesome, and it is fresh, and and because of that, it is deeply enjoyable. Like really fresh ingredients that you quite imagine that the fish that you're eating came onto the dock that morning.
It feels like it's one of those places that has the menu that changes every day, so it's like written in chalk, not an actual every day.
Yeah, it's whatever comes off the boat.
Yeah. Okay.
You enjoy the mead, you enjoy the food, and you enjoy each other's company. As the kind of afternoon leans into evening, you do hear a few other conversations. And generally, the themes of the conversations that you can hear in the pub are of three things. The strange and ominous shipwreck that has just appeared out of seemingly nowhere. The various theories about it. And how it is, and the superstitions that seem to be revolving around it as well.
Do we get an idea of a timeline of when the ship appeared? Like how long it's been up?
Yeah, it's been up a couple of weeks.
And nobody went to investigate it.
No one has gone anywhere near it because everyone is too afraid to, tempt fate. Everyone's too superstitious to go anywhere near it.
has anyone mentioned the name of the ship?
Now you're talking. Actually, that's an easy answer for the GM. No one has, because no one's gone up close enough to it to see if they could read if it's got something written, painted on the side of it. No one's got up that close.
So just a pre-warning, GM. If you don't have a map for it.
Yeah, what he said.
Don't worry, I made a map of the shipwreck. I anticipated this.
Has anyone got any rumours of what the name is for the ship, or are there like a few names?
There are a few fan theories about what is going on. One of the theories that you hear is that this is an omen. This is an omen from the old gods that they're not happy with Kato. Like, Kato just isn't doing his job properly, and now the old gods or the spirits, depending on who you talk to, depends on whether they say the old gods or the spirits, or like, it depends. But there's a theory that this has happened because Kato is no good at his job.
It's the new Gothi.
Yeah. Another theory is that is that the Lieberg Enterprise have been they've increased their shipping routes and lanes, and they have done that during during the spawning season for the herring, and so that's now a bad omen because they have increased their sailing when they shouldn't have, and now they've upset the balance, and now this is a bad omen. And then the other one is that all this science mumbo jumbo about glaciers melting, maybe that is actually a problem. Like, if there's more water going into the fjord, maybe it's changing the currents. That's another theory. So those are really the theories. It's either like, and you can tell it's either people are trying to work it out from a scientific, like, nautical navigation weather kind of way, or people are like, it's the spirits, or you know, a sort of more supernatural way.
Omen for spirits, omen for business, straight up
climate change.
Climate change.
Random question.
Yeah.
With regards to the murder or death and the ship rising, do they coincide at all? Or is it that the ship rose before the death?
I mean, it says that it's possible because it's after.
The ship rose after, like, a couple of weeks after, and everyone has agreed that Hjördis died of old age. From what you can gather, she was ancient. Like ancient.
And you say Hjördis was her name?
Yeah, Hjördis.
Okay, Hjördis dies. Castle takes her place. Ships appeared, and it's been 2 weeks of this.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the sailors appear to be talking of changing currents.
Yes, that's the other conversation that you hear. There's a lot of changing currents.
And we've heard about that even from the guys that were outside.
Yeah, and you'll hear it in here as well. I mean, all of you will know that one of the, like I said right at the, earlier, Flekkefjord got its position on the map because it could continue to trade, and it was the headquarters for the blockade runners, because it is the tide and the currents between the sea and Flekkefjord are crazy. And literally, sailors memorize them like the lines on their hand. Like they don't even use compass, like they just sail it by memory to navigate safely through, and you just have to learn it. And now the sailors are now talking about, like, there's been a couple of near misses where, like, experienced sailors have nearly run aground because the tides and the currents seem to have changed or be changing.
No problem.
And that has that happened in the since the ship appeared? Do we get that kind of impression, or prior to the ship appearing?
Yeah, 100%. Whether they happened close enough together, it's difficult to tell which one came first.
Okay. We don't know if the currents changed first and then the ship appeared, or the ship appeared and then the currents changed. Okay.
And again, it depends who you talk to, because people that think it might be climate change are like, the currents have changed and that's dragged the boat up because, you know, changing tides, changing pressure, pushing on the boat in a different direction may have pushed it up, like, onto some rocks. Whereas then other people who might be very superstitious are saying it's come up like some dark omen and now the ocean is wild.
Okay. It's not time for theories yet. It's still time to gather info, so.
I think I may well retire for the evening.
Yes, sleeping on this might be the way forward. We're not going to learn much more this evening, I thought.
No, unless the drink leads to even more wild theories.
I'm going to stick down here for a bit longer.
Yeah, me too.
More sailors coming in might hear a few more stories of other current changes or strange sightings of creatures.
Be fair, Colonel. If anybody is to understand a lot of this talk, I believe it would be your fine self.
I kinda also want to ask if there's been any disappearances recently, other than death of Herodes, because they were saying the message that was here talked about a cover may have been blown. Somebody was going to be found out. It feels like there's somebody that wasn't supposed to be here, so we need to know if other people came around and then they got either chased out or worse.
Yeah. Okay. So no, no one is talking about disappearances or deaths or.
Anybody thrown to the brig?
No, there's been nothing. There's no crime. There's no crime. No.
At all?
None at all.
That's even.
Everyone is like, it's a safe town.
Yeah. Okay. That really sounds like the beginning of Hot Fuzz.
It's a safe town.
For the
greater
good.
For the good of everyone. For the greater good. What's the
greater
sentence?
good.
The greater good.
The greater good.
So yeah.
Yarp.
I know now what's in my mind.
It's a very peaceful town, and there's no real crime. The only crime really that happens here is drunk sailors fighting.
Yeah. Okay. What happens to them then?
I mean, mostly they just get
They get thrown out of the pub and then they just go their way, I guess.
Yeah. Anyone who doesn't follow the laws is basically like they're not allowed to leave their ship. They're embargoed onto their own ship, and they're not allowed back onto the dock.
Is there anybody that kind of looks like police force?
Yeah, there is. Yeah, but they're not like police. They're more like dock guards.
So it's mostly seriously based on the trade of the sea.
Everything.
There's
is
nothing
connected.
like, I don't know, the sheriff of the town.
No, it's all
Okay.
docks and dock guards.
I have a very bad feeling about this.
Well, with
Yeah.
that, as you retire to your various rooms or your whatever it is you're doing for the evening, retiring to your rooms, spending more time in the tap room with the sailors, etc., etc. As your evenings play out, and eventually all of you head to your rooms, that is where we will leave it for this evening's session.
Okay.
As you settle down for the evening. There you go. Nice work, guys.
Thanks to you.
Cheers, Luke. Bloody hell.
Absolutely
Yeah,
brilliant.
nice work, guys. All right, we're going to do our normal. Who are you? Where can we find you? What do you do? And what do you want to say? I'll work it out, my 4 Ws. Morton, you go first because it always entertains me.
Okay. I'm Gus. I've been playing more than Thorsby. You can find me here on a Sunday, but that's probably about it.
Because where else would you want to be but here?
Where else would you want to be?
Where else?
And thank you very much. It's been very good as always. Nice to be here. Nice to be here.
Yeah. Elstrid.
I am Sarah, and you can find me again, well, here, and I'm on Instagram as Spikkia, Spikkia, and that's kinda it.
Again, best place to be. Why would you need to be anywhere else? Max.
Hello.
Hello.
So my name is Michael. I also go by Mike and mutinous_Mikey. I stream on Twitch 2 to 3 times a week, playing random games. And I'm also on Instagram, Twitter, and the most good or questionable social media platforms. And I've been playing Maximilian Scalebound.
What questionable social media platforms are you on?
Twitter.
That
Well,
shady
on
toctic. That shady ass toctic and
Yes, TikTok as well.
and
TikTok.
Quacker.
I love me some TikTok. I'm just gonna shout myself out because I'm a mod.
Oh,
in
go on
chat.
then.
I
Yeah,
am the mod as well.
shout yourself out. Mutinous Mikey, incredible variety streamer. Streams games, really, isn't it? Sea of Thieves, Guild Wars, and other such shenanigans.
Other bits and bobs.
Yeah.
That's me.
Colonel. Last but by
yeah.
no means least. Please don't ever take the cat ears off.
I think this is now going to have to be a staple. I'm going to have to steal them from my wife.
Sorry, love.
Yeah, no,
now.
I'm Jack Barber. Mostly find me on Instagram as JMBarber_the Colonel. And then of course here on a Sunday, best place to be. So
where else would you want to be?
It's gonna be our new tagline.
We need to get a, as we've got like the I'll just do it now, ! Links for the links for the game. We'll need to get like ! Player socials or something, PS, where we can link everybody's socials in here.
I've started gathering them and putting them in the Twitch About. If you go onto our Twitch About and look at all the details about our Twitch, you can get our social media links there, but you can also, I've started slinking in some of the socials for everybody, where I can find them. I think all I've done so far is put in our two fabulous Twitch streamers. Just a shout out as well to Divin Inc., who is one of our moderators and has been lurking around, keeping us safe and making sure that we don't have any internet trolls making their way into our chat. Divinik is another incredible variety streamer, so go and check them out. We're going to say goodbye to our cast while we head over to our credit roll so that I can just make sure that I, tick all those boxes so nobody comes at me with a copyright claim. Thank you very much, cast. You have been incredible. Thank you so much. And we're going to head over to the... Are we back? Are we back? Am I back? Am I live? Ah! It's not an episode of the Society without a technical issue, but at least this one was right at the end and not right in the middle. Credit roll. I'm just going to whip through the credit roll. There's probably nobody left. We've probably all run away, but at least we can do the credits and... Oh no, credits, and then we can raid out because raiding is important. I just want to say a huge thank you to all of the incredible contributors to our channel. The amazing Shusha for all of the character art. You've seen some character art today in all of the tokens and in the intro. Absolutely incredible, and did every character, did every one of the characters for the Society. Johan Egerkrans is the creator of... is the creator of the Vaesen book, and excitingly, I'm just going to give you a sneak peek. At the beginning of the chat, we were celebrating the fact that we had reached our 50 follower line, and that we were just waiting to get ourselves into affiliate. Now, I said that we were going to run a competition. I can give you a sneak peek into one of the prizes for said competition. Give me a moment while I reach in. Here is my copy of Johan Egerkrans' Vaesen book, but most importantly, here we have a signed print by Johan Egerkrans, which comes straight out of the Vaesen, book and the Vaesen RPG book. So this is one of the prizes that we will be giving away for our affiliate giveaway, a fully signed Johan Egerkrans art print. All the other things you can see on our credits list. But most importantly, I want to say a huge thank you to all of you, our viewers, because really we come here and play these games and have shenanigans for you guys, to tell stories and to entertain you. Without you, we just really wouldn't be here. We just wouldn't be doing it without you. So a huge thank you for coming along on a Sunday evening, joining in, or actually it might not be a Sunday evening if you're on the other side of the world, but coming along and joining in and being with us while we go through these mysterious and intriguing stories. It is always a pleasure, and it is lovely to have you all. Now we're going to do our raid out. This is the part of the chat where I go like this. I can hear voices in my head while I wait for one of my cast members to tell me who we are raiding. /raid. Oh, is it Guild Superior? Lovely. Guild Superior. It's all one word, isn't it? Okay, lovely. Are they playing Blade Runner? Ooh. Ooh, that sounds like D&D to me. Hey, okay, we are going to head over to Guild Superior, another group of lovely people who are playing D&D. I'm going to hit that enter button and trigger off that raid. Hopefully I get the good message that it worked. Super duper. Please head over and give Guild Superior some of our love as we finish this evening's stream. I hope to see you next week, where we will be doing episode 2 of our new chapter 3. Have an amazing week, and see you then. I can't find the button now to say goodbye. There you go. Bye. See you next week.